Hey, right here. Hey.
Hey, hey.
Sometimes when you want the attention of another person, it feels like you've got to go to extremes to get it, especially in a world where there's so many different distractions. When we return, I'm going to show you my top 5 fragrances for cooler weather that will captivate or grab the attention of the other person, and it will do it pleasantly and subtly. That and more, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and today, yes, we're talking about my top 5 winter captivators. That is, fragrances that will pleasantly and subtly grab and hold the attention of the other person. My old writing teacher used to say, show, don't tell. If you have to tell somebody that you're smart, you're probably not smart. You want to show that. And that's what these fragrances do. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We've got 5 fragrances to go over, and we're going to start out with my number 5. My number 5 attention-grabbing fragrance, captivating winter fragrance for men, comes from the house of Jaguar. And it's Jaguar for Men Privé. Privé meaning private. This came out somewhere between the 80s and the 2000s. What's interesting about this, I'm not sure about the launch date of it, but it is not a dated fragrance. It is very modern smelling. Of course, it does have master perfumer Dominique Presa, who created this. You've got bergamot, grapefruit, black pepper, pink pepper, and cypress in the top. That's one fragrance right there, all in the top notes. You've got somewhat of a floral heart. You've got cinnamon, you've got cardamom, you've got lily of the valley, you've got jasmine and geranium in the heart. You've got musk, benzoin, vetiver, patchouli, amber, cedar, and vanilla in the base. Fantastic, lightly powdery, balsamic, resinous fragrance. Let me show you a little bit about the bottle too. I really like that presentation. Jaguar for Men Privé is rich, it's balsamic, it's woody, it's resinous, and it's ridiculously cheap. This is about 15-16 bucks on any discounter online. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in picking it up. If you don't already own this gem, this completely underrated gem of a fragrance, I would highly recommend picking up Jaguar for Men Privé. My number 4 attention-grabbing fragrance for men has an attention-grabbing presentation itself. It is from the house of Diesel, from the OTB or Only the Brave line. None other than Only the Brave Street. In the immediately recognizable bottle, the bottle tells you really everything you need to know about this fragrance. This has an interesting presentation. Let's take a little closer look at it. OTB Street came out in 2018. Nelly Hakim Ruiz is the perfumer that created it. It is immediately recognizable. Once you smell this, you're like, wait a minute, I smelled this before. It has, again, pieces and parts of some really popular fragrances built into the DNA. It's a little bit Invictus-y. It's got that sweetness that Invictus has, but it doesn't have the bubblegum sweetness. This kind of has a wintertime candied cinnamon sweetness to it that is very reminiscent of Giorgio Armani Code Absolute. The fragrance, not only with being sweet, it has some really nice resinous fragrant notes. Has one of my favorite trifectas in the top, which is bergamot, basil, and apple. You've got cardamom, you've got licorice, and those marine notes. So it does have an aquatic sensibility about it. You've got cedarwood, vetiver, and vanilla in the base. So you have some very vanillic notes in here. You've got some fruity notes, you've got aquatic notes, and a little bit darker resinous licorice note. Now this is a really hyper versatile DNA and scent profile that works equally well in summertime, spring and summer, as it does in winter, but I think it's primarily genreified as a winter or cool weather fragrance. And in my book, one of the best attention grabbing fragrances, and that's why it takes my number 4 spot. You might have heard of master perfumer Antoine Maison-Dieu. He created a fantastic fragrance not too long ago in 2019 for the house of Jupe. Is Jupe Absolute. Jupe Absolute takes my number 3 spot because it has so many attributes of fragrances that we really enjoy. It's manly, it's mature, it's resinous, it's inky, it's dark, it's smoky, slightly smoky. This one is similar to, it's reminiscent of a Lavalier fragrance. If you've ever heard of Encre Noir, if you've ever used it or smelled it, it has that same inky, smoky quality about it without going over the edge, without being super dark or super resinous. This one has an edge about it that is great for formal wear, semi-formal wear. It also has a great casual edge, hyper versatile, but most of all, this is going to grab the attention of the person across from you. When someone smells this on you, it's very intriguing fragrance. And that's why I use those two words together, intriguing and captivating. Jupe Absolute is an eau de parfum concentration. Comes in a nice dark bottle with some yellow lettering. In fact, let's take a closer look at that presentation. This has one of my favorite features of any presentation. The aperture of the atomizer is colored and it's yellow against black, so it's super easy to see. Jupe Absolute is for the mature man that wants to send a message, but send the appropriate message. In the top, you've got the singular note of black pepper. In the heart, a floral note of ylang ylang, resting on a base of tonka bean, vetiver, and frankincense. Tonka bean adds a little bit of sweetness just on the edge of your perception. As soon as you recognize it, it's already gone. And that's the wonderful thing, and that's what gives this kind of the air of mystery that it has. The air of maturity and mystery. I really like this fragrance. I'm wearing it a ton this winter. It is one of those intriguing, captivating masters of winter, and that's why it takes my number 3 spot, Jupe Absolute. All right, guys, we're down to my top 2 attention-grabbing, winter-captivating fragrances for men. Taking my number 2 spot is a fragrance that came out in 2020. It is a flanker of an original fragrance that many people loved because the flanker does the same job as the original of the OG, but a little bit better. Christophe Reynaud and Quentin Bisch created it. It is none other than Rabanne's 1 Million Parfum. 1 Million Parfum is, of course, an eau de parfum concentration. It is rich, it is sweet, it is resinous. It has a relatively simple scent profile. The DNA, in fact, is simple, it's elegant, it has a single message, hey, look at me. Grabs your attention. It really is a wonderful attention grabbing. I mean, just look at that presentation. That grabs your attention right away. In fact, let's take a closer look at that. I'll admit 1 Million Parfum is not my favorite atomizer. It does tend to spit a little bit, similar to the Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo line, but it doesn't matter. The juice is amazing. It does the job. You've got tuberose, you've got ambroxan, you've got leather, you've got cashmere, and you've got labdanum. So it's a wonderful mix of deep, rich, resinous, slap in the face, like attention grabbing, but it's a gentle, it's like a slap with a velvet glove, this fragrance. So it gets the attention of the other person, but it does it pleasantly. The simple, elegant way that this fragrance deports itself not only grabs the attention, but it holds the attention for the duration that you want it to be held. It's super rich, it's super dark. It's got some sweetness to it that stays throughout the life of the fragrance. So if you don't like sweet fragrances, you may not like 1 Million Parfum, but it's an excellent flanker that I think does a little bit better than the OG job, and it does it with a little bit more of a modern spin. Probably should be my number 1. But this next fragrance does actually top 1 Million Parfum, so let's get to it. All right, everyone, do I have your attention? I hope that I do, because this number 1 attention-grabbing, captivating fragrance for men for winter in my top 5 is from the house of Calvin Klein, believe it or not. Is Euphoria Amber Gold for men. This little gem right here, not a ton of people are aware of how good this fragrance is because some of the CK1 fragrances, some of the flankers are just a little underwhelming. Now the master perfumer for Euphoria Amber Gold is Laurent Leguenet, and he created this fragrance to captivate and hold the attention of the other person that is found within the bubble or sillage trail or scent trail of this fragrance. It is an amazing little gem, super underrated. You've got a bright, spicy, woody opening with cypress, bergamot, and thyme. You've got sage, you've got oregano, jasmine absolute, and honey in the heart. So that's where that kind of amber golden feel starts to come into play in the heart of the fragrance, resting on a base of leather, frankincense, amber, and vetiver. The reason it's such a great attention grabber is because it has elements of all of our favorite types of expressions. It's almost sensory overload to a degree because you've got dark, rich resinous and honey, so you've got a little bit of that sweetness in there, but you also have amber, which is a little bit dark but also bright in the spectrum of fragrances. You've got some supremely eye-opening spices in here. It's one of those subtly strong fragrances that grows stronger over time. As soon as you think that you've smelled everything that you can smell that this has to tell, it grows stronger, deeper, darker, and richer. That is why it's my #1 attention-grabbing fragrance for wintertime. That is Calvin Klein's Euphoria for Men Amber Gold. I hope everyone has enjoyed my list of top 5 attention-getting and grabbing and keeping and captivating and intriguing fragrances for men for wintertime. If you have other experiences with these fragrances, please let me know what those experiences are like. If you feel like other fragrances belong in this list, or you have your own Fab 5, let me know what those are too in the comments down below. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my video today, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.